Hi everyone, welcome back to My Crumby World. I am Shannon Addison and this is Penelope Pumpernickel. And if you follow along, you know that My Crumby World and the Breadcrumbz are all about baking and friendship and connection and resilience and acceptance and all good things for kids. So if you do follow us, and we sure hope you do, you know that we are currently taking a journey through this book, My Crumby Guide to Baking and Friendship Making, which has all of the things I just mentioned. You know that we, last week, took a journey into the world of pumpernickel bread with the quick pumpernickel recipe. And we made a wonderful pumpernickel bread, which is right here. This bread is so tasty and so easy to make, and it is filled with fiber. So it is a wonderful bread for everyone in the family. And yes, great for kids. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a little adventure into what else we can do with this bread. Now that we have some made and we have a little bit left, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a little experimentation? So I looked up some recipes, and today I found a recipe for, wait for it, pumpernickel bread brownies. Yeah, pumpernickel bread brownies. We're going to try this recipe, and from what we have of this pumpernickel bread, we're going to make some brownies. You like brownies? So do we. So let's get started. In my crumby kitchen, the kitchen is now officially open. Okay, so after some looking, we found this recipe online for, it's called Cocoa and Rye Breadcrumb Brownies. And I like that it's rye breadcrumb, because Breadcrumbz brownies, you can't go wrong with that, right, Penelope? But we're gonna try this, oh, and it's by somebody named Emily. We're gonna try this recipe. I don't believe they had any reviews. So we're gonna try it. I will list all of the ingredients and the process in this video. I'll show you everything I do in case you wanna try it. And then we'll taste it and we'll see how it tastes. If we don't like it, or if we wanna make some changes to it, we will do that, and then we will come up with maybe our own pumpernickel brownies. We'll see. But we're gonna give this one a try first, and we'll see you in our next video. Okay, jumping right into it, you're gonna need a large mixing bowl and of course measuring cups and spoons. These are the Breadcrumbz version. We're going to use cocoa powder, butter, semi-sweet chocolate chips, both brown and white sugar, eggs, and pumpernickel bread. This is what was left from the pumpernickel we made in our last video. Starting with 3/4 cups of brown sugar. So you're gonna have 3/4 of a cup, or as you see as I'm demonstrating, 3/4 cups. And yes, that is the Whitney wheat measuring cup that I used. Once we get that mixed up into our bowl, we're going to add our granulated sugar. And we will also be adding 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. 1, 2, and 3. I have been mixing everything together as I go just to keep it easy, and the recipe does call for you to combine according to the recipe. So I am just trying to follow this recipe to the letter, with the exception, of course, of using the pumpernickel bread as opposed to using rye. Now we're going to add 3/4 cup of melted butter. And again, I'm using the Whitney wheat 1/4 cup measuring cup for this. You would just use either 3/4 cup measuring cups or a 3/4 cup measuring cup if you have one. So once you get the butter added to your mixture, I'm going to go ahead and add this together, or combine this in my bowl. And I'm just using a whisk to do this. I never use any type of electric beater. I'm just going to stick with a whisk or a spatula. And now I'm ready to add my cocoa powder. And for this, I'll be using a tablespoon. So I'm going to add 6 heaping tablespoons of cocoa powder. And if you work with cocoa powder, you know it tends to get everywhere when you work with it. So just be careful and try to keep it over your bowl when you're adding your cocoa powder. So 6 heaping tablespoons. And then I will take my whisk and I will combine this into my ingredients. Once it's all beautifully combined, I'm going to take out my half teaspoon and I'm going to add a half teaspoon of fine sea salt. And I'm now ready to add 2 eggs to this mixture, which I'll be happy to add because it's becoming harder and harder to stir and I need a little bit more moisture. So I'm adding 2 large eggs to my batter. Yes, you do spy a eggshell. Let me get that right on out of there. And I'm going to mix this up, and it's going to blend into a really nice batter. All I need to do now is add my breadcrumbs. It's weird that I'm going to be adding breadcrumbs as opposed to adding flour, because this is generally when you would add a flour to your wet mixture. Now I'm going to cut up my pumpernickel bread so that I can put it into my little Ninja blender, which you don't need a large food processor to do this. Any small blender would work, just to get the breadcrumbs ground up so that I can add them to my wet mixture. And look how nicely they came out just using my small Ninja blender. I'm going to fill 2.5 cups of the pumpernickel breadcrumbs that I will be adding to my wet mixture. So now I have my 2.5 cups of pumpernickel breadcrumbs I'm going to add to my wet mixture, and I will combine it and have one last ingredient to add, and we'll be ready to bake. So now we're combining our breadcrumbs into our wet mixture, and I'm not going to continue using a whisk for this. I'm now officially going to change over to a spatula. This is much easier to combine the ingredients. And the breadcrumbs actually combine nicely with the wet ingredients. Okay, the last ingredient that I'm going to add to my mixture is 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to add this into my mixture and combine it. And once it's mixed in, I'm ready to put it into the pan for baking. Okay, now to bake it, I have both greased my pan and I have lined it with parchment paper. And I'm going to put my mixture into my pan. And then I'm going to spread it evenly across my pan and prepare to bake it. Now that I have my prepared mixture spread pretty evenly throughout my baking pan, I'm going to put it in the oven, which is set at 325, and I'm going to bake it for about 40 to 45 minutes. So Penelope, what did you think? That was kind of exciting. This recipe, now granted, look at it now. This recipe is really interesting to me because in order to make these pumpernickel brownies, we are actually grinding up the pumpernickel bread that we baked last week and using that in place of flour, which is so intriguing to me. I will be very excited if we make pumpernickel brownies out of pumpernickel breadcrumbs. I know, it's exciting. So I hope you're following along and we will see together how this turns out. I can't wait to taste them. And here they are, my official pumpernickel breadcrumb brownies. Okay, Penelope, we're back and it's time for the official moment of truth. Are you ready? Let's taste it. Oh my goodness. These are so good. They really are. I am not a brownie person, but these have a very light taste. They have a lighter crumb. They're not as sticky, and they have a really unique flavor.
Oh, wow.
I have to give Emily's rye bread brownies, which I am now dubbing our pumpernickel brownies because we used pumpernickel bread, 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. If you want the recipe, you can find the entire recipe on my website, and also, of course, in this video. We hope you give it a try. We want you to expand your flavors in the kitchen and especially spend time with your kids and have them try something new. You won't regret it. So for Penelope and for me, we are going to officially say that the kitchen is now closed. Until next time, happy baking, everyone.